Welcome to RAM English Test Prep. In this video, we will raise our level of vocabulary before IELTS, TOEFL, OET or PTE exam by using advanced adjectives. So let's begin. As we know, the format of the IELTS, TOEFL, OET or PTE exam involves 4 sections: the listening section, the reading section, the writing section, and the speaking section. Both listening and reading sections assess your receptive skills of English language, the listening skill and the reading skill. And both writing and speaking section assess your productive skills of English language, the writing skill and the speaking skill. In order to master these 4 skills, you have to gain intimate knowledge of English vocabulary and grammar. One of the best ways to have rich vocabulary of English is to use advanced adjectives instead of using very with low-level adjectives. So, on the exam day, stop using very with low-level adjectives and start using advanced or high-level adjectives. So, let's begin. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Very clear. Very clear. Obvious. Obvious. Very big. Very big. Massive. Massive. Very different. Very different. Desperate. Desperate. Very easy. Very easy. Effortless. Effortless. Very happy. Very happy. Ecstatic. Ecstatic. Very important. Very important. Crucial. Crucial. Very unfair. Very unfair. Unjust. Unjust. Very hurt. Very hurt. Battered. Battered. Very small. Very small. Tiny. Tiny. Very lazy. Very lazy. Indolent. Indolent. Very complicated. Very complicated. Intricate. Intricate. Very mean. Very mean. Cruel. Cruel. Very slow. Very slow. Sluggish. Sluggish. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Very clean. Very clean. Spotless. Spotless. Very fast. Very fast. rapid, rapid. Very smart, very smart. Intelligent, intelligent. Very strong, very strong. Forceful, forceful. Very huge, very huge. Colossal, colossal. Very calm, very calm. Serene, serene. Very weak, very weak. Frail, frail. Very sad, very sad. Sorrowful, sorrowful. Very cold, very cold. Freezing, freezing. Very ugly, very ugly. Hideous, hideous. Very upset, very upset. Distraught, distraught. Very expensive, very expensive. Costly, costly. Very dirty, very dirty. Filthy, filthy. Very tall, very tall. Towering, towering. Very wet, very wet. Soaked, soaked. Very rich, very rich. Wealthy, wealthy. Very exciting, very exciting. Exhilarating, exhilarating. Very warm, very warm. Hot, hot. Very careful, very careful. Cautious, cautious. Very bright, very bright. Luminous, luminous. Very angry, very angry. Furious, furious. Very noisy, very noisy. Deafening, deafening. Very poor, very poor. Destitute, destitute. Very windy, very windy. Lustre, lustre. Very confused, very confused. Perplexed, perplexed. Very busy, very busy. Swamped, swamped. Very stupid, very stupid. Idiotic, idiotic. Very cautious, very cautious. meticulous, meticulous. Very aware, very aware. Conscious, conscious. Very amazed, very amazed. Astounded, astounded. Very accurate, very accurate. Precise, precise. Very basic, very basic. Rudimentary, rudimentary. Very polite, very polite. Courteous, courteous. Very competitive, very competitive. Ambitious, ambitious. Very anxious, very anxious. Apprehensive, apprehensive. Very deep, very deep. Profound, profound. Very dishonest, very dishonest. Corrupt, corrupt. Very hopeless, very hopeless. Desperate, desperate. Very embarrassed, very embarrassed. Mortified, mortified. Very unpleasant, very unpleasant. Obnoxious, obnoxious. Very dry, very dry. Arid, arid. Very determined, very determined. Adamant, adamant. Very informative, very informative. Enlightening, enlightening. Very enthusiastic, very enthusiastic. Eager, eager. Very capable, very capable. Competent, competent. Very obvious, very obvious. Evident, evident. Very famous, very famous. Renowned, renowned. Very friendly, very friendly. Amiable, amiable. Very doubtful, very doubtful. Suspicious, suspicious. Very unhappy, very unhappy. Miserable, miserable. Very far, very far. Distant, distant. Very usual, very usual. Habitual, habitual. Very fat, very fat. Obese, obese. Very frustrating, very frustrating. Disheartening, disheartening, very greedy, very greedy, insatiable, insatiable, very necessary, very necessary, indispensable, indispensable, very cute, very cute, adorable, adorable, very curious, very curious, inquisitive, inquisitive, very faithful, very faithful, loyal, loyal, very funny, very funny, hilarious, hilarious, very honest, very honest, candid, candid, very intelligent, very intelligent, brainy, brainy, very dangerous, very dangerous, perilous, perilous, very fragile, very fragile, tenuous, tenuous, very hairy, very hairy, hirsute, hirsute, very heavy, very heavy, leaden, leaden, very hungry, very hungry, starving, starving, very thirsty, very thirsty, parched, parched, very ill, very ill, infirm, infirm, very helpful, very helpful, supportive, supportive, very impressive, very impressive, extraordinary, extraordinary, very lavish, very lavish, luxurious, luxurious, very lively, very lively, energetic, energetic, very likely, very likely, expected, expected, very logical, very logical, rational, rational, very loved, very loved, cherished, cherished, very immature, very immature, childish, childish, very unethical, very unethical, immoral, immoral, very jealous, very jealous, envious, envious, very intense, very intense, severe, severe, very moody, very moody, temperamental, temperamental. Very painful, very painful. Excruciating, excruciating. Very pale, very pale. Ashen, ashen. Very numerous, very numerous. Myriad, myriad. Very new, very new. Novel, novel. Very neat, very neat. Tidy, tidy. Very lucky, very lucky. Blessed, blessed. Very musical, very musical. Melodic, melodic. Very interesting, very interesting. Compelling, compelling. Very juicy, very juicy. Succulent, succulent. Very lonely, very lonely. Deserted, deserted. Very rough, very rough. Coarse, coarse. Very scared, very scared. Petrified, petrified. Very shy, very shy. Timid, timid. Very tired, very tired. Exhausted, exhausted. Very strange, very strange. Weird, weird. Very skinny, very skinny. Skeletal, skeletal. Very valuable, very valuable. Precious, precious. Very zealous, very zealous. Passionate, passionate. Very brave, very brave. Fearless, fearless. Very perfect, very perfect. Impeccable, impeccable. Very remarkable, very remarkable. Outstanding, outstanding. Very respected, very respected. Prestigious, prestigious. Very sincere, very sincere. Heartfelt, heartfelt. Very violent, very violent. Brutal, brutal. Very shocking, very shocking. Horrific, horrific. Very ridiculous, very ridiculous. preposterous, preposterous. Very unimportant, very unimportant. Frivolous, frivolous. Very nervous, very nervous. Jittery, jittery. Very crowded, very crowded. Packed, packed. Very damaging, very damaging. Devastating, devastating. Very well, very well. Fabulous, fabulous. Very wise, very wise. Sagacious, sagacious. Very visible, very visible. Conspicuous, conspicuous. Very useful, very useful. Expedient, expedient. Very diligent, very diligent. Conscientious, conscientious. Very attractive, very attractive. Captivating, captivating. Very sure, very sure. Certain, certain. Very widespread, very widespread. Prevalent, prevalent. Very evil, very evil. Wicked, wicked. Very wary, very wary. Vigilant, vigilant. Very unusual, very unusual. Abnormal, abnormal. Very unlikely, very unlikely. Improbable, improbable. Very rainy, very rainy. Pouring, pouring. Very traditional, very traditional. Conventional, conventional. Very tasty, very tasty. Delectable, delectable. Very tame, very tame. Docile, docile. Very suitable, very suitable. Appropriate, appropriate. Very profitable, very profitable. Lucrative, lucrative. Very same, very same. Identical, identical. Very sweet, very sweet. Sugary, sugary. Very dependable, very dependable. Reliable, reliable. very treacherous, very treacherous. Disloyal, disloyal. Very exhausted, very exhausted. Drained, drained. Very sudden, very sudden. Unexpected, unexpected. Very rude, very rude. Insolent, insolent. Very rare, very rare. Scarce, scarce. Very severe, very severe. Acute, acute. Very shaky, very shaky. Tremulous, tremulous. Very religious, very religious. Pious, pious. Very reasonable, very reasonable. Sensible, sensible. Very relevant, very relevant. Pertinent, pertinent. Very roomy, very roomy. Spacious, spacious. Very productive, very productive. Prolific, prolific. Very significant, very significant. Noteworthy, noteworthy. Very pure, very pure. Pristine, pristine. Very arrogant, very arrogant. Conceited, conceited. Very careless, very careless. Inattentive, inattentive. Very selfish, very selfish. Egocentric, egocentric. Very dismal, very dismal. Depressing, depressing. Very fizzy, very fizzy. Effervescent, effervescent. Very uncontrollable, very uncontrollable. Unruly, unruly. Very informal, very informal. Casual, casual. Very fashionable, very fashionable. Trendy, trendy. Very sorry, very sorry. Apologetic, apologetic. In this video, we have significantly increased our vocabulary for the IELTS, TOEFL, OET or PTE exam by learning 170 advanced adjectives. In upcoming videos, we will have a chance to know more words that can be useful not only on these exams but also for general use of English language. So, subscribe if you are new to the channel to get more information about these exams and how to best prepare for them. Also, you may be interested in knowing more about other international exams like GRE, GMAT, and SAT. As always, before we say goodbye, if you have found value in this video, give it a like, share it with friends and colleagues, and do not forget to hit the little bell icon so you will be notified every time we post a new video. Thanks for watching, and let's meet again.